Now here you will see a clear dot, right? And that means it's a keyframe, and a keyframe is like a new page in a flip book, pretty much. Now if I draw something like a circle, it's going to turn black, and that means that that keyframe has a drawing on it. Any spot that does not have a circle is just a frame, not a keyframe, it's a frame. And if it's lit up, then that means it's holding the previous keyframe for a longer period of time. And that's pretty much the basics of animation. You're just creating a new page in a flipbook, which is the keyframe, or you're holding a page in a flipbook, which is the regular frame. There's three main hotkeys that you need to remember: F5, F6, and F7. I personally had them hotkeyed to F1, F2, and F3. F5 will extend the previous keyframe with more frames, but also push everything on the right side to the right one frame. F6 is going to copy the previous keyframe. It's going to copy the last keyframe to the left. Now F7 is similar to F6, but it's just going to insert a blank keyframe. So it's like adding a new page in your flipbook. Now I'm going to do some basic animations just by using these hotkeys. I'm going to turn the onion skin on so I can see the previous frames. I'm going to press F7 for a new keyframe, go forward a couple of frames, F7 again, draw something, forward a few frames, F7. And that's just pretty much how animation works, right? Just like a good old flip book, but it's digital now. Now let's get into layers. First of all, do not be scared of layers, okay? Layers are your friends. So just spam new layers, because that's what I do, and just get used to utilizing them as much as you can. Pretty self-explanatory, but any layer that's above another is always going to show on top. And if it's below another layer, it's always going to show up behind it, all right? I highly suggest you guys to get used to the timeline controls and just navigating through the timeline. This is why Adobe Animate is one of the best programs for animation. It's just because of the timeline and how flexible it is. Here's a quick time lapse for you guys. I'm just making a very basic animation here that utilizes the layers, the F5, F6, F7. You can see I do a lot of F6 to copy the previous keyframe, and then I just end up skewing the body and then adjusting a little bit because I am using the line tool. And also at the very end, I make some adjustments with F5. I kind of clean it up a little by right-clicking and removing frames. And there you go. It's that easy, okay? If you master the timeline and get used to the timeline, everything else is like downhill. So just play around with it and tell me how